welcome to yet another episode of the Heart to Heart podcast with myself, Mike Mundo, and
Shiko Guru.
I feel like we need to get like bells or something.
Yeah, we need
and start using like an intro theme song that goes, not like the news.
Yeah.
First of all, let me start by saying this. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. Did you have a good day at work?
I did. It was nice and productive and went quickly. How about you?
My day at work was interesting. Kumbuka, we are on all your favorite platforms. We are working on the video part of this podcast because a lot of people have been saying, oh, we need to see the two of you. We need to see the two of you.
Yes.
That is in the works. So eventually it's going to come out.
Yes.
Yeah.
On YouTube, every episode we get this question a lot. Like, when are you guys going to add video? We will soon. We're working on it. It's a work in progress.
That's important. Yeah. And also, you've noticed, Shiko hasn't mentioned this yet. Before we get into our new episode, there's a whole setup here I've done for her.
He really has. I don't. Okay, you explain.
No, you describe it.
You know, usually we do this podcast in his office, sitting across from each other, just sitting on regular dining room chairs or office chairs. Today, there's like a little table that has a tablecloth in between us. There's candles. He's lit. He's bought wine for me. Like, it's a proper setup. It would be like a proper date night setup.
Yeah.
Candlelit dinner and everything. Yeah. Only instead of food, we have microphones on the table.
And the chocolate.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and he got me chocolate, which I've quickly devoured. 2 types of...
Oh, my God. You've already finished the Snickers bars.
I did. Okay. He got me my 2 favorites. So he got Snickers and he got fruited nuts, Cadbury's.
Yeah.
And dry red wine and candles, and yeah, I don't know what the special occasion.
No, there's an envelope in between.
Yeah, I thought that was a mistake. There's also an envelope and a pen.
And a pen. And it's going to make sense later on the podcast.
Oh my gosh, why are you doing
But there's a reason it's there, and it will serve a very huge purpose.
Now I'm nervous.
No, don't be nervous. I don't bite.
Anyway, so yeah, on the table there's a brown envelope and a pen.
I'll let you know what it's all about. But what I'm trying to do basically on this episode of the podcast is to bring you in closer to our life, one momentous occasion that's going to happen.
Oh my gosh, don't do that. You're making me so nervous.
Don't be like that.
What am I signing? Because I feel like you would only have a pen.
It's not a prenup. I'm not that rich.
Watch Mike pull out a prenup.
It's not a prenup, so don't worry. Yeah. Anyway, so we've been, of course, on this journey together. We've been discussing, of course, books of the Bible as they relate to relationships nowadays. If you're just tuning into the podcast for the first time, just so you know, the Heart to Heart podcast is all about navigating life in your 30s and 40s while in a blended family and in a relationship, heading to marriage or even in marriage. I guess we're going to be with you for a very long time. So jump on early. It's important. In Kikalenjin, nasema chambin.
Or in the streets. I know plenty of girls in the streets. Yeah. But around your 30s and 40s.
Okay. So we're finally at the book of Judges.
Yes.
We finished Joshua. And for those who don't know about the book of Judges, it basically is that story where Israel abandons God and becomes completely corrupt in the land that they were given. And it's a story that basically examines human condition and that highlights that need of a deliverer. And it brings out the fact that the Israelites started living whichever way they felt was right in their own eyes. In fact, if there's any one sentiment that really encapsulates the book of Judges, is that in those days, Israel had no king and everyone did what was right in their own eyes.
So shit hit the fan, basically.
Basically, yeah. So it was those ones of, we're finally here at the promised land. It's like, you know how we think like you're going to go to heaven, it's going to be this whole big party. And everyone is going to just be jumping up and sherehe all the time. That's kind of it for them, I guess. They get to Canaan and they believe like, you know what, now we're here.
Or like, now you finally got the guy, got the girl.
Yes.
And the work is over. Now I just do whatever I want.
Yeah. And speaking of that, if you find yourself in a relationship that seems to mirror that decline that Israel had, you know, you finally got the girl, you finally got the guy.
You're finally married, or you're finally married. In a relationship.
And then this person now decides, you know what, I've gotten to the promised land, let me do me. How do you handle that with people who are in relationships but still act single? You ever met those kind of people?
I know girls who have been like that as well. They are finally in a relationship.
Yeah.
Let me just talk about one specific case. And this was while I lived in the US and I was in grad school, and I had a really close friend. And the thing was, it wasn't even like they got married and then she started acting out. It was like they had been married for a while. They had dated forever, got married, had been married for a while, and then it's like she just
switched.
It's like she was having a phase. I don't know what it was, but she was literally like going on trips to a cabin with a college student, and we're in grad school, and she was married. And she's still married with kids now, but during that time I just couldn't understand. Like, you've been with this guy for a while, you're married, now you're in grad school, he's working, but now is when you want to go on cabin trips.
Oh, it's like you want to go to Vashas.
Yes.
Now you want to hit Nax for
with
a weekend.
Ben 10s,
with Ben 10s,
basically. Yeah,
that kind of thing. Yeah.
And honestly, I have seen that happen. And if I was to talk to her husband, I would say in that one particular case, and maybe it applies to others, try and get to the root cause of what that person is yearning for or missing. I think for her, knowing her, she was getting scared about, they were about to now start having children and their lives were about to get very serious. So it was like she was reaching back to her youth before this imminent grown-up life hit her.
Yeah.
And maybe what she was yearning for was excitement, like youth or something.
How do you then reconcile the fact that you're now married, you're in a relationship, but you also still don't want to lose your individuality? Because that's a big part of the reason why your partner is with you. But you get married, and a lot of the times you get into this, or into a serious relationship, and you get into this routine of adulting. And you're adulting 24/7. And maybe you have your peers who are still out in the streets. You look at their life and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I want that. Or maybe sometimes you're seeing colleagues doing fun stuff. And how do you reconcile? Because for me, I find it sometimes a bit strange when people struggle to reconcile it, because I think I go through stages in my life. I look at my life in stages. So I look at it like there was a time that was for me. If I'm going to do the Vashas over the weekend, if I'm going to go to Coast for the weekend, you better be there. You know what I mean? It's not those ones of I just want to go and sherehe by myself and just spend this entire weekend with some random people. I'm like,
okay, so maybe that's an extreme, but I do think that there's subtle ways men and women lose their individuality within relationships. So maybe you're not going to a cabin or going to Naivasha with the opposite sex and going for wild nights, but you shared a post on your Instagram stories which was like telling guys, do something nice for yourself.
Yes.
And you have commented that there was a time in your life when you were a bachelor, like even before your last serious relationship, there was a time when you used to buy yourself shoes. Like that was your thing.
Yeah.
And then when things got serious in your previous relationship, or when you started seeing your role as, okay, now in this relationship, I have to provide, I have a child, you stopped doing that. And I saw that and I felt sad, because I don't think we should lose our individuality. I think you should still buy yourself a pair of shoes if you want.
No, but don't you think like to some extent there's certain aspects of your individuality you need to shed?
Even the Bible says you become one, right?
Yes.
That's what the Bible says. When you get married, you become one. But I know for me as a woman, when I became a mom the first time, I completely lost myself in motherhood. And it almost gave me postpartum depression because I stopped being Shiko. And it took so long to pull myself out of that. And I know it was detrimental to me as a woman, as Shiko, and also to the relationship. Because you fell in love with Shiko. You didn't fall in love with Mama Nani. And so I need to keep being Shiko for myself and for the sake of our relationship as well.
Yeah.
We become one, so I need to consider you in everything that I do, but I cannot do so to the point where I forget who I am and what
who you
I like.
are and what your values are and what you like and what you want. That is true. I think to some extent people do lose a bit of themselves. For the most part, you should leave at least the things that matter to you should remain the same. And for different people, it could be different things because, I mean, there are couples who don't mind if you still do your Vasha trips.
Yeah.
I know of women who tell their husbands, you've been in the house for too long. You get out, go and meet some men.
somewhere.
Go out and do something.
Spend the night somewhere.
Yes.
Could never be. You don't even. Don't even. I mean,
I was trying to throw it in there.
Not happening.
Never.
I know you like shoes, so do that. Or you want to get a new car. You should prioritize that.
Okay.
So I think it's up to the couples to remind each other, especially men. Let me just say this. Men, when your woman has a child, it is natural for the woman to give all of herself to that role of being a mother, and it has to be up to you as a man to remind her, to pull her back to herself. Because instinctively, she'll just want to give everything to this child.
Yeah.
And it takes a good man to be like, babe, let me watch the baby. You go take a long shower, or go do your nails, or go to the gym, or window shop, or go watch Love is Blind for 5 hours, whatever it is.
You guys trust us with the baby?
Yeah.
For that long? Are you sure?
You better. I mean, you are the daddy. So, because I know I have a tendency to lose myself completely in motherhood, and it makes me resent even the man that I'm with. It's not your fault, but I will even resent you. So anyway, that was just a little side note.
Just side note. But so you're with someone and you feel like, for example, like you guys are sliding back into that sense of being in the wilderness. Like you're not in Canaan anymore. It's like you're married and you find like things are deteriorating for some reason. Like, do you think that maybe on some level that couples forget those commitments and those values? They forget the reason why they're together in the first place that leads them to feel like, no, this woman is too nagging. Oh, this man, he doesn't fulfill what he promises me. Oh, this guy. Do we forget why we were together in the first place?
Do we forget? Or do we just start taking each other for granted?
Yeah.
I feel we start taking each other for granted. And when you're dating, when you're katianaing, your main goal is to make the other person happy. So you do the things that make them happy. So yeah, I do think maybe there's a risk of stopping that. You give me your experience. You've been in relationships that have fallen apart.
Yeah.
Do you think there was an element of this was not how we started?
I find like a lot of the times in my relationship when I meet people, there's that excitement they have of like, I'm dating this guy and this guy makes a good income. This guy is popular and well known. He's a personality. Him being a personality gets me through certain doors of events. And please note, as I say this, it's because also for the most part I was dating younger girls. And
Oh Lord.
so they would be like, hey, with Mike, if there's this and this I want to attend, I just tell him. And I mean, you've seen me do some things like that where you tell me I want to do this and I'm like, okay, see you, I'll get you the ticket for that, or see, I can just make a phone call. And
a flashy lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly. Let me
especially
put it
to a younger girl.
to a younger girl, it's actually up there. To you, I'm still trying, but wait. To Tafika too. Anyway, but because of that, I find like a lot of them got used to it and used to me, such that I stopped being the exciting guy. Now I became
so shiny. You weren't the shiny.
I'm not shiny anymore.
Okay.
So it's a question I ask myself when I date someone. Do you like Michael or do you like Mike Mondo?
Okay.
Who is it that you're falling in love with? Because if it's Mike Mondo, then that's the lifestyle that I'm portraying for you, right?
Which you can get bored of.
Exactly. And then for me, if you like Michael, then you'll understand how much I enjoy sitting down on a couch and watching a movie with the person I'm with, right? And ordering a bottle of wine and just sitting in. But when you're looking for that Mike Mondo, then over time you find that we started arguing so much over things, because now I'm of the impression that this person likes me for me, right? But over time I'm realizing they just like me because of that idea that, hey, I'm Mike Mondo's girlfriend. And because of that, for example, you walk into a place like, I'll give a good example for something that happened real time. I'm very good friends with a family that owns a very major hotel in Nairobi. And, you utilize that friendship and you're like, I want to go to that place. I know a lot of MDs, for instance, or CEOs of major hotels in Nairobi. Like, you find that these people start saying, so you call your friend, or so you go call this person, we go and do this. I know the management of like different places. And because of that, I find like those relationships, people started using that as a thing. Whereas for you, if you'd ask me, hey, babe, why haven't we gone for date night? And I can tell you like, I'm broke, and you can understand it. For them, if they ask that, but you know the guys, you call them, we go anyway. You know what I mean? And it deteriorated that way to the point that you feel like a thing, right? In the beginning, before then, they used to use Ubers to come and see you wherever you are. Now, apparently, you're supposed to pick them up from wherever you are because they want to show off that you came and picked me up from work at 4 a.m.
4 a.m? Where is you working?
I've dated some really questionable characters. Don't worry.
Oh my gosh, why are you being picked up? Okay, let me turn that around though.
Yeah.
In as much as you're saying, like now they're taking for granted. Now it's like, so you do this.
So you'll do it. Yeah.
Yes.
It's now actually an expectation.
Yes.
Because umemzoesha.
Yes. Could it also be the case that in the beginning you were using that to win them over, but even you got used to them and not having to win them over, so you were like, I don't want to have to call this guy, period. Whereas in the beginning you would be like, no, whatever happens, I have to make sure we go to XYZ. But then later on you zoed and you were like, it is what it is. Offense already taken.
No.
Okay.
Isn't that what a man is supposed to do?
What?
Ideally, in any situation. For example, if we were in Mandamanos and I saw you arrested by cops, won't you expect me to do something?
Yeah.
Right? Even though at that point I don't know how I'm doing it.
Yeah, just figure it out. Yes.
Dude, I'm in the back of a Mariam. Get me out.
Yes.
Isn't that what we do as men? We have to show you. It's like posturing. In the animal kingdom, the dominant male will posture in the most dominant way. So I do that as a female, right? The dominant female who is in heat will search out for the male who looks most dominant. So if I want to win your heart, I need to bring forward my most dominant self.
Yes.
So aside from that, not saying that women are like animals, they're very different. So as a woman, don't you think also at some point you should have the intuition or even the integrity enough to be able to say, you know what, I'm really interested in this guy, and we don't have to go have dinner at Kempinski. Why don't we go and do something that's more reasonable? Which is things like just like you do with me.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's one way of looking at it. I'm just saying it could also be taken like this guy used to try and now he's not trying anymore. It could also be looked at that way. I think for women, we are always on the lookout for being taken for granted. So this guy used to take me out on dates. He used to do this and this and this, and now he's not. He's just doing whatever he wants to do.
You want to tell me as women you're clueless at the idea of courting? That this is this guy trying to get with me? Like you don't realize that?
No, we don't want to accept that it was all a farce. Surely.
It's genuine. I'm not saying it's a farce. It's genuine. But you must understand at some point this is courtship. This guy is hollering at me. And because he's hollering at me, he's going to pull all stops. I mean, how is it that this is something that happens to women every day?
Because it
men holler at you, offer you lunches, send you gifts, buy you things, take you to places. But you don't realize that this guy is just trying to get with you.
Remember how you were saying, like the last episode, how, if she's cooking at Sujui here and she should continue. It's the same thing. Don't you also realize that when she was making those round chapels, she was trying to get you, and now that she's gotten you, someone else can
that's
make the
different
chapels.
Because she's getting me at a level of things that I want and probably things that I'm used to. You have to understand, for example, women punch up.
As we should.
Men.
I mean, in terms of what, though? You have to
in terms of their partners. Women will never look at a man, someone who they know for a fact that this guy is not going to take me anywhere.
You mean financially women punch up?
Even emotionally.
What do you mean
you
emotionally?
Punch up. If a man doesn't give you attention, you look for a man who gives you attention. If a man doesn't give you finances, you look for a man who will give you finances. If everything that a man is not providing, you will punch upwards. You will rather date a man who is giving you everything you need to feel secure and you don't love them. As opposed to a man you love but makes you feel insecure.
Okay, so when you say punch up, I'm thinking someone who is better than them.
No. I'm saying not better than you as a person.
In any way, actually.
Yeah, but it's better in terms of you will always look for the next
Someone who will
best
treat
thing.
them better than the last person.
Yes.
Okay,
So
fair enough, as we should.
think of it this way.
We should always want to level up, yes.
Okay, good stuff.
Yeah.
Men never look for a woman who's better than them. I'm not saying better than them in terms
You
of
just
financially.
said better than them.
Come on, context is important.
Okay, say,
right?
what do you mean by
Yeah.
better than them?
Men will not seek a woman who, for example, outrightly seek a woman who he feels is above his level. That's the word I was looking for. If he feels a woman is above his level,
Like out of his league.
out of his league, then for him, he may be with her for other reasons. Financial gain, he may be with her for maybe she looks good. When I walk around, I'm seen as a god. But everything with that woman will be selfish for him. I need her for the sex, or I need her for the money, or I need her for the status. But he knows he's never going to commit to her because she's above his level.
I'm really struggling.
A man needs to feel like they're in control.
Okay, so we're talking about...
Yes. So, for example, we either date at our level or we look for someone who has not yet reached our level so that we can bring them to our level. Yes.
And women, you're saying...
Women will look for someone who's above their level.
In terms of
financially, earns more than them. Physically, they're attractive. Like someone just who epitomizes what you read in a romance novel, or that all-round individual. I know a lot of guys talk about women who are fixer-uppers, like women who meet men and then they try and fix them.
They want to fix men.
And make these men all... No. Those women who do that, and I'm sorry to say this and I'll be very frank, you need to first check yourself. There's something you're dealing with that you haven't yet dealt with fully. But an all-rounded woman, for example, like you, the Shiko I know right now, this guy is like this guy is like that. We are Jatosha Mboga. You will not. And that is just fact. Whichever way we'd like to twist it and flip it, women punch up, men punch down.
So we're dating.
Yes.
Describe the punch up, punch down dynamic between us.
Between us?
Yes.
Earlier I said we look for either our level or we punch down. We don't look for our level or punch up. Like, for example, there's no point in me hollering at Rihanna. You get what I mean? Where is that going? Even let me bring it local.
Wow, Rihanna is a bit of an extreme.
Okay, let me come local.
Okay.
There's no point of me hollering at, say, Uhuru Kenyatta's daughter. Gina. Where is that going? There's no way I can keep up with her.
Okay.
I can't.
Okay.
Right? But however, you tell me to holla at, some video vixen on my Instagram page, that's quick fast.
You are really dancing right now. You are
I'm not dancing.
You really are. You are on like hot stones.
No. But there are points at which a man now wants to settle down, which I got to, right?
Okay.
So I will look for someone who's at my level.
Okay.
We can reason on that we have the same mindset,
Yeah.
basically, and this is what we both want, right? But if I was looking to just have a one-night stand, why am I punching up?
Or even at your level.
Yeah, or even at my level. For what purpose? Bottom of the barrel, we go kota uko.
Oh my gosh. But to bring it back to the conversation though, let's say if a woman, let's say your previous relationships, if they were punching up indeed, if you stop doing those things that made them feel like you are punching up, then they would start feeling like, then why am I with you? If you can't get me into this event or this club or whatever it was that was shiny, then they might feel like, see, now you're on my level and me, I want to punch up.
And that is why they felt, for the most part, because I don't break up with a person very easily. It takes a lot. But by the time I do, it's a no-return situation.
Yeah.
And so you give these people a certain lifestyle. I mean, I've dated women who for 23 years have never ever boarded an airline, and because of me they boarded one, and it was like an exciting thing, and over time you start realizing, wow, like, why am I here? And not to say that if you've never done these things then there's anything wrong with you, just that if I was looking to find a woman that I wanted to control, that I wanted to make sure she was under my thumb, I would look for kienyeji. You know what I mean? And kienyeji doesn't mean necessarily you've come from shacks. No, but just that you've not really experienced life. So that everything that you consider life, you experience, that you aspire to, you experience it through me. And as you experience it through me, then you only see me as a way for you to get that life.
You're a lifeline for
Exactly.
them.
And so you're stuck with me forever. Now, over time, what happens? You won't have a say on the table to say, hey, I don't like this, or I don't want this in the house, or I don't want that. You can't.
And I think some men like to be the lifeline for their woman. Like, without me, you would be nowhere. Right? There are other men like you who want a partner, more
Exactly.
of a life partner. So we figure things out. Even financially, we support each other.
Yeah.
Or mentally, intellectually, we can challenge each other. So I think it's just a case of...
It's a case of that. And I went through that, and I can tell you for a fact, it's not the ideal way of getting married, because one person will eventually get hurt. If you get married and you know that that man is your lifeline, if you get married knowing that I can't do better than this woman,
Oof, that is dangerous.
that's very dangerous.
Kwanzaa, as a woman, let me just say, if there's one thing that I want to make sure is that my daughter and my bonus daughters from you, like, grow up knowing that if I'm with this guy, it's because I love him.
Yes.
Not because I cannot survive without him.
In fact, there's an interesting video I saw today that it was a father teaching a kid how to defend himself because of bullying. And he was really tough on this kid. And after the whole training session and everything, boy was really crying. And the dad went and hugged him and then told him, I don't want you to respect me because you fear me. I want you to respect me because you love me.
Yeah.
I'm showing you how to defend yourself. The world will never be kind to you, ever. Yeah? But I want you to be able to defend yourself because I won't be around always. So don't fear me.
Yeah.
Love me and respect me because you love me. Period.
Yeah.
That's an interesting tangent right there. But we continue, of course, with our conversation today. And as we talk about the book of Judges, it talks a lot about how Israel was full of sin and everyone was doing what they wanted. In the context of a relationship, there are marriages and relationships where people are stuck in this cycle of hurting each other, saying I'm sorry, hurting each other again, saying I'm sorry, hurting. Like, how do you think people get out of this cycle of constant hurt? And I'm not talking about making a mistake, like, a normal mistake. Like, I'm talking about hurt. This person cheats on you and they say they're sorry, you take them back. This person hits you, says I'm sorry, you take them back. And it's this constant cycle of just hurt and temporary reconciliation.
Gosh. Okay, first of all, that is my definition of toxic, where you are intentionally, knowingly hurting the other person or hurting each other repeatedly. It's not healthy for either of the parties. And those situations get outside help. If you find yourselves unable to break that cycle, someone has to break it for you.
Yeah.
If you're trapped in that cycle, then that's when you seek counseling or go to a couple that you trust or your parents, friends, whoever it is. And that's if you're both willing. Because I've been in relationships where I want to do counseling and the other person doesn't. So you both have to be ready to break the cycle. If only one of you is willing, then that's when I think it's really hard. Like, what would you do if now we're married and I'm repeatedly doing something that's very hurtful?
I'd bounce.
Wow, I just literally said it's not as easy to walk away.
Yeah, I know. But you see, the difference with how I take marriage from other people is that if it's my irreducible minimums, like those minimums, and you keep breaking them over and over, I don't care if we stood in front of God. I'd take you back to him and tell him, bruh, have her back.
Okay, let's not do the deal breakers. Let's just say it's, the person has cheated or hit you. No abuse emotionally or otherwise, no cheating, no massive disrespect, but it's just a constant cycle of small hurtful things.
Small hurtful things. If it's different things, that for me is okay, because different things is learning. That's a learning curve you're going through. If it's the same thing over and over, now you're just taking me for granted, because then what did your I'm sorry last time mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's the same thing over and over, I don't think I'd accept that. But if it's a different thing, then maybe we're learning about each other as we go. And so maybe as we grow, there are different things that are popping up. And also you have to be accepting of the fact that even in a marriage, people change and evolve.
Yeah.
The Shiko you are today won't be the Shiko 10 years from now, right? And as you change and as I change, there are points at which our paths may rub each other in different ways. And so if it's different things, then that's all well and good. But if it's the same thing over and over,
No counseling, you just bounce.
I'll talk to you. I'll have to sit you down and ask you what's wrong with you.
Do you not believe in counseling?
We would see a counselor. Of course, we would do it. But I'm of the opinion that all the answers are with you. A counselor doesn't tell you what to do. A counselor just tells you, this is what she's saying, this is what he's saying. A counselor just breaks down your ego, breaks down your walls,
Yeah.
so that you're able to see the other person. That's all they do.
Which is a big thing. Sometimes
So
that's
why can't
what
you
it
do
takes.
it? So does that mean that we always have to have a third party?
Not always. These are not normal times. This is like you keep having, like, there's some fights we have that are literally the same thing, just in different forms. But at the root of it, it's the same thing.
Give me an example of what.
Okay, for example, I feel like you are not caring about my feelings and it's manifesting in different ways. Or you feel like I am not giving you the information you need to be able to trust and be comfortable and relaxed about a particular situation. And so it's just different situations.
But can I be
same
honest?
Root
But can I be
cause.
honest?
Yeah.
Your feelings are like a roller coaster.
Whatever.
Let's be honest.
This is when a counselor would tell you,
Yeah.
Mike, her
No, I
feelings
hear you.
are valid.
No, they are valid.
Yeah.
And that's why I acknowledge them. And that's why I always come and tell you, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Or I didn't acknowledge how you feel.
Michael.
And that's why I apologize for it.
Always come and tell me it's
Babe, let me ask you, how many times do you think I've apologized to you in the last 1 year?
hardly enough.
Hardly enough? I think every month I've said the words, I'm sorry.
Men think that, but it's not actually
No.
the case.
Just because every apology didn't come with a chocolate and a bouquet of flowers doesn't
Even
mean
the
it wasn't.
words.
Yeah, but
Even
the words,
no,
I'm
are
sorry.
not there all the
They're
time.
there. We always have them. Remember, I used to tell you all the time, why is it every month at a particular period we always have a fight?
You're pushing this PMS
I'm not
agenda.
pushing it. All I'm saying is that we do, and it was happening regularly. Every month we had one major fight.
So what has changed?
What has changed is that I've started to understand how you feel. I look at it like a graph in my head. These are the happy days, these are the not so happy days, and these are the happy days. So I'm more cautious. Like if you notice, I can be very sarcastic when you're in your very happy days, right? But when you're in your not so happy days, for me, I know I have to watch my tongue. Right? Because
I'm more sensitive.
you're more sensitive. I could say something very innocent and you think that I don't care about how you feel. And yet for me, I'm looking at it like, yo, it's just a joke, bro.
Or I made that same joke a week ago.
Yeah, it was funny. What's changed now?
Okay. So I agree. Like, I think the main thing is you need to keep growing, evolving, learning each other,
Yeah,
and caring about what matters to the other person.
exactly.
You know, the way, like you were saying in the beginning, the Israelites just started doing whatever they wanted to
They
do.
wanted to.
They started being selfish. I think that's now where things start to go really wrong, because the moment I stop caring about what
Yes.
you want or what you need and start doing things just for me, and you start doing the same, then is that a relationship or is that just two individuals cohabiting?
Cohabiting, yeah.
Yeah,
And
so-
these statements like, but you're the man or but you're the woman, they need to stop. You're my partner, right? If I need you for something or you need me for something, I should be there. It's nothing for like, but you're the man or you're the woman. No. You're my partner, period. And as my partner, if God says we become one, we need to operate as a unit, right? God never said that, and together you are husband and wife. No, together you become one. And that's something that we need to carry. Speaking of which, and you've mentioned something very interesting about doing things the way we want to. Yeah. As couples go around their relationship, I mean, there are times when people don't take responsibility for upholding shared values. Which is, I think, very sad. That for example, your woman doesn't like you coming home late. It's something she holds dear. But you do it repeatedly. Or you know your man doesn't like the house help serving him food. But because you're in the middle of your Netflix show, you are calling that house help. Ever put for him food or whatever?
Yes.
Such things. Do you as a woman feel like those values, like if you ever fell short of taking responsibility of those values, you're willing to say, you know what, I can take accountability for that now. You know what, yeah, that was wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like we're saying, if you know this is important to me and I know this is important to you, I cannot all of a sudden stop doing those things, and you shouldn't stop doing those things or upholding those values. I'm wondering, what about the situations where values change? For example, there's couples that have been together a long time. Like, we're meeting each other when most of our values are set in stone, you know. But there are couples that have been together since their 20s.
Yes.
And now, for example, in my case, I decide, you know what, I don't believe in the medical system. I want to have a home birth.
Oh, hell no.
Or I don't believe in the schooling system. I want to homeschool. Or you decide, you know what, I feel like God is calling me to have 2 wives. You know what I mean? Like some random stuff like that.
All of a sudden, I'm a polygamist.
All of a sudden you decide, you know what, Shiko, I don't want you working. I want you inside the home. I want you to raise our children yourself. You know what happens when values evolve?
It's not your value that has evolved. It is your preferences maybe have changed, but not your values. Values are inherent in you. This is like your core, yeah? The base of soup will always start with a tomato. You know what I mean? Like, you know, your values are so deeply ingrained, they don't change. How you choose to exercise them, though, can change. But that value still remains the same. For example, if you were the biggest believer in home births, and then all of a sudden you have Mike here telling you, no, you have to go to a hospital and give birth to this child in a hospital. And you're sitting there and you're like, no, I can't, I don't want, this is part of who I am and what I believe in and everything and blah, blah, blah. You see, I could bring the entire medical unit in that home to simulate a hospital just for you. The idea is that you just want to give birth at home, but everything that's in a hospital is right there. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that in a way.
And I will say, I think I agree with you because, for example, just to use home birthing and homeschooling as examples. My first child, I had her in a hospital with an OB/GYN who I loved. And she made me feel empowered. And that way, I was very happy to give birth in a hospital. So the desire to home birth wasn't so much that I hate hospitals. I love medicine and modern science. It's that I did not feel the same empowerment and comfortability and autonomy. So it's not that my values changed, like you're saying. It's just that what I was looking for, this is the only way.
Environment probably that would have given you that.
And then same with homeschooling. I was looking for a style of education that I wasn't finding at the time in the school systems I was looking at. And so now that I've found, you know, I love our kids' schools. So I agree with you in the sense that the core values don't change. Maybe what would happen then, if the two of you align on core values, maybe what you would compromise on is the execution.
The execution part of it, because it doesn't change. You can homeschool, but what if I brought all the teachers from Brayside to come and teach?
Or found a school that...
you'd still be comfortable. So it's a transference of values to that environment in which you can exercise those values. So you're not necessarily changing those values. So I feel like shared values are core.
Yes, so
in
important.
a relation. So important. And in fact, even early stages of dating, if you find that you don't share the same values, there's no point in going down that journey.
Absolutely.
No point, because it's just going to end up in disaster.
And I feel like couples in the courtship stage and even in marriage year on year need to remind themselves
of those values.
Core values. Like a part of our AGM, which we did for the first time in January this.
Was it early January?
Yeah. One of the questions there is, what are your core values? It's like the way you're told whenever you're doing something, what's your why? Like, why are you doing that? Family is like a huge thing for both of us. And so wanting to be in an environment that helps us build a healthy family is so important.
It's very important.
And affects everything. Why are we living where we're living? Why do we choose to spend money the way we're spending our money? It's all about, some core values.
Core values,
yeah, I think one way to stop the disintegration into selfishness is to keep going back to also your core values as a couple.
Yeah, and actually that goes into what I wanted to talk about next, which is about that selfishness. And when people become too focused in their own desires to the point that it leads to fights and arguments and disagreements all the time, whereby I know myself and my obsession when I focus on something. But then again, I realize that even you may come home and you may want my attention and my presence. And at that moment, I'm so super focused on one thing to the point that I'm now ignoring your needs. I find it like such a very tricky balance. It's like even you when you do your writing, for example. Oh my gosh, guys, you better know when Shiko writes, she does not like being interrupted at all. When she's opened her laptop, she's there and she's just typing out. In fact, here's how crazy it gets. She actually goes to Java, sits there and writes for like 3 hours straight.
Yeah, yes, that's true. I need that
Because you
selfish
don't like
time.
interrupt.
I need the isolated time. I need to not have any interruptions.
And so how should we balance that basically in terms of there are things I'm passionate about, there are things you're passionate about. And how do we stop it from being so involved in what we love to the point that we end up in argument or in conflict with each other?
It's hard. For me, like the writing is an example of where I have to be selfish, and I don't find that hard. I feel like there are times I struggle, and you've called it out, where I have my needs and at the same time you have your needs. And let me give you an example, and you've asked this before. I'm very emotional, and there are times when I'm having a hard day, and there are times you've asked me, but babe, what if I'm also having a hard day? Like, who will take care of who? And I can admit, in those situations, it's very hard for me to set aside my feelings and take care of you. And it's a practice, honestly. I wouldn't even lie. And it takes the other person calling out. So being vocal, like when you said that, I was like, okay, yeah, anyway, usually you're the emotional rock and I lean on you. But there have been times and there will be times where even you are having a rough time in another area. But I think as hard as it is, it helps when you vocalize those times when, you know what, in these situations, you're gonna have to work not being selfish. In these situations, you're gonna have to be selfless. For you, it won't be an emotional thing that you struggle with, but maybe it will be a time thing. You focus.
I feel so bad about that. By the way, Aki, our baby girl, I feel so, because she actually had told me earlier.
Yeah, so this is the situation. Mike is setting up the podcast, mics, table, all the things he set up today. And when he's doing something like that, he is super focused. Like those ones of he won't even hear you when you call him. He does not want anybody near him while he's doing this. Our daughter had a bunch of medals that she wanted to show. And so she had told him, okay, get ready. When mom comes home, I'm going to
do this whole
present my medals.
Everything.
So I came home, I'm in the living room with the other kids. And so she's ready to present. And I think she even came and reminded me.
She came in and told me, can you come to the living room? And I was like, really now? And then I'm like, can I just finish what I'm doing first?
Yeah. And even our little boy who is obsessed with being around Mike and being around the office came to the office to just chokora things. And today Mike was like, not today. I'm busy.
Not today. Out.
Go back to the family room. So in those situations, my word to you, babe, is those are some situations where you have to not be selfish. You have to pull yourself out of what you want. And even if it benefits the family, obviously we are benefiting. I'm happy you did it because look at this lovely space. But in those situations similar to that, you're gonna have to,
Yeah, I think it's something that I'm trying to learn, considering the fact that I don't live with our kids, but the other two. And I've not necessarily stayed with my daughters in one house for a prolonged period of time. The thing is, there's certain small things that I've not known, and like I told you, like I've been so used to being alone for majority of my life. Even accepting the fact that there's family and you need to spend time with family. That has been something I've had to tell myself over and over. And I love the fact that you introduce routine. The bedtime is at this time, this is at that time. So it allows me to train myself to know that when it's 7, we are all in the family room and we are all together. When it's dinner time, we're having dinner together. When it's bedtime, we go to bed together. And that, I think, has helped me in many ways, but I'm still struggling with trying to just pull myself out of those little projects I have in my head. Because in my head, how it seems is like, if I get this done, then it's going to benefit all of us.
Yeah, you're like, it's for us, which it is.
Yeah.
But, you can't do it in your schedule. Like,
I do understand that. I mean, a great man, even one of the wealthiest men in the world, Warren Buffett, once said that he never comes home with work. Whenever he comes home, it's family. When he's at work, he's at work. And I think I need to learn how to separate that and to be able to know that work time is work time, family time is family time.
Yeah. Agreed.
Sawa. Well, and we're getting to this final part, and then we'll unveil what exactly is in the envelope. But we started this process, and I'm glad to tell you that, and big shout out to you, Pastor Mike, yet again, the idea of seeking external help. In the book of Judges, there's a very, very important message that comes out where the Israelites needed a deliverer. There's the aspect of needing that deliverance and needing a deliverer who's going to come and take them away from their corrupt ways. And sometimes a third party is really important.
Fully agree.
Yeah. So seeking external help, things like counseling.
Yes.
How do you think that benefits you and I?
You know how I love the idea of counseling, whether it's individual therapy, whether it's couples therapy, whether it's premarital, whether it's even during your marriage. And it doesn't even have to be formal, like a licensed therapist or a church counselor. I think it can even be an older couple who you both respect, who can come in and be like, "Hi there, Shiko."
But how would you take it? Like thinking about even just our first ever taste of counseling, how deeply you took it, how emotional you got.
Yeah.
Like, is that a weight you're willing to carry? Is that something you tell yourself, you know what, it's for the benefits of both of us, and you say, you know what, I'm going to carry this feelings and everything that I feel?
Actually, after that podcast, I had people DM me and say, by the way, every therapy session is like that. Like, you dig up these emotions and you have to reckon with them. And basically they were saying, trust the process. You've not had to talk through these things or think about these things, but you need to get to the other side. So do the work, as they say, quote unquote. And that's part of the work. It's wrestling with all these emotions that come up as a result of therapy or counseling.
Okay, yeah. I'm willing to do it simply because I think it's necessary for me to unlearn a lot of things. I need to be able to trust in the strength and the unity of family.
Yeah.
And to be able to just move on from whatever hurts and pains that I carried growing up and through previous relationships. And I think that would be important for me. Big shout out to you yet again, Pastor Mike. He sent me a message today. Yeah, and you want me to read it for you?
Yeah, I don't
Okay. Because you had asked me earlier whether or not, by the way, Pastor Mike had gotten a hold of us. So I sent him a message today. I said, hey, hope you're well. How soon till the next marriage counseling class? He responded, hey, Mike, I'm good. Hope you are too. We don't have a set date at the moment, but we can do a one-on-one with a mentor couple.
Ooh.
I said, that's cool.
Oh my gosh, why am I nervous?
Can you organize it? And you be
Me?
the counselor, Pastor Mike.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
reading our messages between me and him.
Okay.
And he said, sawa, he's going to set it up. So we're going to do premarital counseling.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, me and you with a mentor couple.
Aww.
Yeah. So I guess that also kills two birds with one stone, because you always said we needed to have a mentor couple in our lives.
Yes.
Okay. Then, sawa, that was the book of Judges. But before we are done, so there's the envelope. the document in front of us
God.
is that document you signed for a notice of marriage when you're applying for that marriage thing.
That's what he has unleashed.
Yes, I've unleashed it. And babe, you need a better picture than that.
That was taken very quickly.
Wait.
Leave my passport.
You were
He's
very
missing my passport.
But
size
anyway,
photo.
so we're going to sign it together because I want to have it uploaded tomorrow so that we can book the date for us doing our
Civil ceremony.
Civil ceremony. And yeah, are you nervous?
Yeah.
You are? Okay.
I mean,
So I printed out
ready.
2 copies. Let me sign for my part first.
I wear. You know you need to read it nicely.
Then read it. Okay,
Why?
go ahead,
I
check
might
it
be
out.
signing my life away to this man. You never know. You know men are crazy.
If you ever want to do a civil ceremony, you have to just go on eCitizen and then you apply through. There's a bunch of documents you need to upload though.
Yeah.
But after that's done, basically you get this form you need to download, sign, and then upload it back. And then I think it's like 600 bob or something like that.
Okay, I'll sign first.
Sasa, you're signing before the groom has signed.
Okay, you sign.
Who are you getting married to?
Who knows?
What if you sign and I refuse? So let me do the signing ceremony. So this is the official signing ceremony for that wedding date, which you will have to tell me when. Huh?
Yeah, and we don't want people to do the math of when the civil ceremony is.
Sawa.
And I know people will be like, you're just doing a civil ceremony. You're not doing a
Why?
wedding.
By the way, explain. Why?
Y'all, I have never been a fan of weddings for myself. Like when people get married, I love to attend. I love to be a guest at weddings. But like
Planning is a whole thing.
yeah,
That's why they have wedding planners.
Even the stress. I'm not even talking like the logistics, but even birthday parties. I don't like to have birthday parties. Like,
Woman, sign the document. You're derailing. Hey, come on, I've already signed.
I'm buying time as I consider.
Okay.
I'm signed.
Yeah. So now that she has signed the document, this means that I'm going to upload it. That means the countdown will begin.
Oh my days.
Yeah? Are you scared?
No, I love you. I'm not
Okay,
scared.
I love you too, babe. Alright, so that's been the Heart to Heart podcast with Mike and Shiko, the Book of Judges. It's been a pleasure having you join us, of course, and we love the fact that you join us, and of course we have these conversations, or you listen in on our conversations with Shiko.
Yep.
Any parting shot for the world?
Let's all be safe. We love our country, and let's keep it going, guys. We're so close to getting this country to where we all know it can be.
Yes. I'm going to share the words of a great man I know called Mwalimu Kingangi, and I will say this. Don't look at a piece of liver and now it can still choke you just because it has bones. So to the government of Kenya, that is what I would like to tell you about Gen Zs. Don't look at them like they have no bones, like they're just a piece of liver.
Oh, just because it doesn't have bones.
Yeah, doesn't mean it can't choke you.
Like guashe.
Kwanza ipate bila chai. So we'll say Koheri. Catch us again, of course, next Sunday. This has been the Heart to Heart podcast. My name is Mike Mondo.
And I'm Shiko Guru.
Catch you again next time.